What is up, you guys? Real quick, wanted to do a video on 5 reasons why you should use the debt validation process, okay? This is one of the most essential processes that was able to help me keep debt collectors at bay, was able to help me remove collections, and it was able to help me improve my credit score, okay? So we're going to be talking about those things. We're also going to be, talking about debt validation, what it actually is. So what I want you to do is go ahead and like, comment, and subscribe to the YouTube channel. You already know who it is. It's your boy Biz Nick, man. So make sure you're showing love because I'm going to keep dropping some game, keep dropping some bangers for you guys. So make sure you guys are subscribing for that.
I need like 24 for the P, nigga. I don't do no love. I need like 10K for the back.
So let's go ahead and jump straight into it, man. Number one, let's talk about the power of debt validation, what it actually is. If a debt collector sends you, or a collection company, a debt collector, which is anybody who is coming after you for a debt, if they send you a bill statement or a presentment or an invoice, you have a right to challenge whether the debt is valid, right? The validity of the debt. Okay, so what do I mean by that? We talk about on this channel, House Joint Resolution 192, through the fact that debt has actually not been real for the last century, since 1933. And when companies come after you for debt, according to the FDCPA, you have the right to actually challenge them on whether the debt is real or not. Should they even be coming after you for the debt? Do they have the jurisdiction to come after you for the debt? So that's all debt validation is. So when you are looking at a debt validation letter, it goes a little bit like this. Hey, I'm not saying I do not owe you guys, but I would like you to provide a proof of claim that the debt is actually mine. If you can prove that the debt is something that I owe or that is my obligation, I will pay it, okay? And a part of a debt validation letter, you're gonna ask a few questions. Number one, okay, give me the original note. Number two, who is the original creditor? Number three, based on House Joint Resolution 192, how don't you fall under that category? So I'm gonna ask a couple of questions that is gonna lead them to misrepresent or lead them to lie. Right? Because there's no way they can say that they're the original creditor. There's no way they can answer and give me a note where I contracted to pay the debt. They'll probably give you a note from another company, right? But depending on the company, especially if it's a collection company, if they're not giving you a contract between them and you, business to business, person to business, if they're not able to show a contract based on that, then it's not valid. They shouldn't be coming after you for the debt, okay? 15 U.S.C. 1692 talks about the harassment practices of debt collectors. The fact that they'll sell your debt off to someone else, give your location information to someone else without your consent. That right there is a violation, and you don't have to pay that company back if they decide to violate the FDCPA, okay? Or how about if you challenge them on the debt and you ask them to validate the debt and they send you a letter back not validating the debt, you don't owe them, okay? And that's in the quantum language, quantum grammar video that I dropped. So go ahead and drop that if I haven't already, or go ahead and look at that if I haven't already. I have it linked down below. So, the power of debt validation, right? Here's what it's gonna do, okay? It's gonna literally force the company to look at your account differently, right? Let's say you cannot pay it this month. If you challenge the debt, you can be able to hold them off for 30 days, right? To come up with an argument so you don't have to pay it. These are the things that I used in this challenging process, okay? Before I knew how to do anything, I could tell you a quick story, right? I think I got like a repossession notice on one of my vehicles, and when most people will sit and they'll just watch, right? And they'll just not read the letter, or they try to hide their vehicle, right? Or they won't even pick up the phone. What I did was I wrote a debt validation, a simple debt validation letter. You can actually look up these templates online, right? But if you don't want to look up online, I have a template, a part of my community. But you can take that debt validation letter and you can send it to the company. They have to dispute the debt before they can come and try to collect the debt. They have to answer to the dispute before they can collect, okay? A part of a debt validation letter, you can add a cease and desist. So you cannot call me unless you are unless you sent mail in regards to this dispute. Okay? Also, at the same time, while it's being disputed, if it's in a disputed debt, they must remove it off your credit report. So collections are easily getting knocked out because they're not able to provide that validation because they've gotten it fraudulently. But also at the same time, for those 30 days, they have to comply to that. Okay? If they don't comply to that, they are in violation, and you can take them to court or invoice them and you know, write that down as a line item on how they're violating you. Once they start violating you as a consumer, whatever their argument is dead, because they should not be violating you. You're the reason why they're even able to participate in commerce. All right? So I do have a list here real quick. So number one, it's important to use debt validation because you want to know the accuracy of your debts. Okay? And obviously, let's say it's a credit card and you know that you created that debt. You have a right to challenge that, right? All debt is alleged. Or it's alleged or it's yours, right? In law, it says debt means alleged obligation to. Okay? So if someone says you have a debt, that could be an alleged debt. All right? And so I want to prove the accuracy of that, right? You want to know the accuracy of the debt. You want to know how much you're actually owed. Because sometimes what they'll try to do is they'll try to add some extra fees on there, that and the third. But in my letter, I'm going to say, hey, show me all the fees, all the line items. I need to know what the debt is. And I want to know where each number comes from. Okay, so that's important. Because if you know the accuracy of the debt, it makes it easier for you to challenge it and catch them up on their violations. So number two, it's going to improve your credit report. I want you to understand your credit report will be improved if that debt is removed off your credit report, if that collection is moved off. If you have collections on your credit report, you know once it gets removed, you get 100+ points off your credit report. Don't pay your collection because all that's going to happen is it's going to go to zero balance and you're going to have to owe them or it's still going to show up on your credit report as a collection. So I wouldn't tell you to pay your collection. I'll tell you to send a debt validation to those collection agencies. Send a debt validation to those companies, right? Especially those lower companies because they're not going to be able to challenge it. They're not going to be able to provide a proof of claim that you owe them in time before they have to take it off your credit report. All right? 30 days go by and they don't respond or they don't do anything, they are probably taking it off your credit report. So it's going to improve your credit report. I'm going through this quick. Now, number three, it's going to hold the company accountable, right? Because if you're sitting here coming after me for a debt, what I want you to do is, as a consumer, I want you to prove that to me, right? Most of these companies are out here misrepresenting, acting as attorney, faking, these processes, acting like they're not discharging the debt or charging off the debt, right? Acting like they're not doing things on the back end, acting like they don't know about House Joint Resolution 192 and the fact that debts aren't real, acting like they don't know that the United States are bankrupt. You know what I'm saying? Acting like they are the authority when they're not. So when you use simple legal documents like this, like a debt validation, it's going to have that corporation or company, start to look at what they're doing, right? And know that, hey, it's a consumer out here that's actually going to do something different, right? So debt validation, it can hold creditors and collection agencies accountable for their actions. It requires them to provide evidence that they have legal right to collect on a specific debt. That's all it is. Right? And you have a right to hold a company accountable. Okay? Number four, it's going to provide you with legal protection, right? Because debt validation is supported by the Fair Debt Collection Practices Act. All right? As soon as you send a debt validation, you are challenging them on the FDCPA. Okay? And everything applies in the FDCPA. Sorry, I literally just got up. So I got trying to knock this out before I go to the gym. Okay? So if you look at the FDCPA, right, or even the FCRA, these are going to protect you as a consumer, right? So when you're fighting debt, when you're fighting your consumer reports, you're looking at these laws and you're using these laws, and when you're sending your letters, it's standing and protected by those sections in the Constitution, okay? And the Constitution is going to supersede the state Constitution or the state laws. They're going to try to use the state laws and say, hey, the state law says I can do that. The state laws are just a reflection and is supposed to uphold the Constitution. Okay? You're going to be protected. Don't be afraid to use a debt validation. right? If you're going to be quick to pay something, right, or stress about paying something, maybe you should be quick to learn the FDCPA, to learn how to put this debt validation letter together. And again, you can Google debt validation.pdf and you'll find a letter or a template online. Okay? You can even go on ChatGPT and type in, create me a debt validation letter for this company. Okay? You can put their address and everything. ChatGPT will do it all for you. Okay? And then lastly, you'll get more of a financial peace of mind, because once you understand that debt is not real, when you see debt and you understand that you can challenge debt, you won't be afraid if a collection company or you won't be afraid to open up your mail. Some of us are afraid to open up your mail, and that is literally acquiescing yourself. You're literally agreeing to whatever they're sending you. The reason why I'm teaching you debt validation is because when they send you a letter and you don't respond, you are agreeing to whatever they sent you. Okay? So if you understand that you have a way that you can actually attack debt collectors, you can attack those credit bureaus, or you can attack those collection companies, you will have a financial peace of mind knowing that, hey, look, I don't have to come up with this $1,000 right now. Okay? I don't have to, right? I can send them a letter for now, give me 30 days to settle it and figure it out. This even opens up the game for negotiation, because if you send them a letter about the debt, right, and let's just say, you know, boom, that gives them in their mind that you're some type of litigious consumer, right? And you can take them through the full admin process if you don't want to pay the debt. Okay, go ahead and look at the quantum grammar, quantum language video that I dropped. But, you know, you can send them that letter and maybe use that next 30 days to come up with that money. You get what I'm saying? Maybe hold them off from repossessing your vehicle, right? So you don't feel like you have to come up with a large lump sum of money just to get your car back, or for them to take your car. Okay? Or you can use that 30 days to come up with an argument or a game plan on how you want to set off the debt, whether it's 1099, whether it's right rescission, whether you want to challenge them on their, just challenge them as a company. You know what I'm saying? Take them to arbitration. Do you want to learn those processes, or you want to join a program like mine while you have them at bay? Okay? This is something that, again, if you read a debt validation note, it's going to tell you all you need to know about what you're doing in the process. Okay, now you wouldn't stop at a debt validation. You got to understand the full admin process. Go check out my videos to learn the full admin process, or you can join a community. But at the end of the day, if you learn how to do debt validation, if you learn how to create a debt validation letter and use it to your advantage, I promise you will get out of that mental tyranny. You will have more of a peace of mind when it comes to your financial stability or anything dealing with finances. Okay? It is important to know that you must use this process carefully. This is not a one-trick solution, one-trick pony that's going to help you. You send one letter and the debt is gone. Okay, they can still challenge you on the debt and it can come off your credit report. Okay, or they can say, hey, there is no debt, but it's still on your credit report, and you still have to reach out to the credit bureaus and get them to take it off. Okay, I want you to know this is not legal. This is not financial advice. This is education. And I want you to understand that if you use this process effectively, you do it done the right way, you'll be able to get remedy. You'll have that financial peace of mind. Your credit will improve. You'll be able to keep debt collectors at bay. And at the end of the day, that's all we want to do. All right? Appreciate you guys. Make sure you're clicking the plus sign. Make sure you're subscribing. Make sure you're liking and comment if you got any value from this, right? Because I'll continue to keep dropping these bangers, keep dropping this game for you, because I love y'all. Appreciate it, and continue.
Certified, I'm really tryna like Benny. You talking dumb and niggas never get with me. I got brown like I'm Bobby and Winnie. Turn back when I'm hitting that field. Yeah, hold it down for a nigga I show. Make a flip, girl, on the toe.